Hello. Welcome to WorldNet American Business English. I'm your host, Russ Fast, and this is Program 9. These lessons are based on a video English course developed by PACE International, headquartered in Portland, Oregon. This is the textbook we'll be using, American Business English, Volume 1, Basic Communication. There are 4 textbooks in this course, especially prepared for use with these programs. Well, let's get started with today's lesson. The setting for today's lesson is Hewlett-Packard. And we're going to be concentrating on technical business communication. The first person we're going to meet is the Business Communications Manager. Ready? Here we go.
Automated office.
Hello, Lee.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Fine. Tell me about your job.
I'm Business Communications Manager. What we're responsible for within this department is PC management, office automation management, switchboard, mail, and copiers, and systems programmers.
What's PC management?
That's personal computer management.
What are your job responsibilities?
Well, we establish the personal computer strategies. We define standard hardware and software recommendations. We provide training and support to the end-user computing people.
All HP equipment?
Yes, all HP equipment.
What communication functions do you manage?
Well, one of the systems we implemented within the last couple of years is something we call HP Desk, and that's an electronic mail system. We felt like that we could get a lot of benefits from having a paperless environment in terms of the memos that are sent out. And HP Desk has really satisfied a lot of those needs for us.
How do you make a paperless memo?
Well, what you do is you log on to the system where the HPS database resides. It's really a very user-friendly system. You basically say send, the name of the person you're going to send the message to, and you're prompted with the word text, and you type in your message and say mail, and it's off. As simple as that.
How many people here have PCs?
Well, currently we have 224 personal computers, and I think there's about 40 of those that are the portable version. Hello. Fine. How are you? I'm Business Communications Manager. What we're responsible for within this department is PC management, office automation management, switchboard, mail, and copiers, and systems programmers. That's personal computer management. Well, we establish the personal computer strategies. We define standard hardware and software recommendations. We provide training and support to the end-user computing people. Yes, all HP equipment. Well, one of the systems we implemented within the last couple of years is something we call HP Desk, and that's an electronic mail system. We felt like that we could get a lot of benefits from having a paperless environment in terms of the memos that are sent out. And HP Desk has really satisfied a lot of those needs for us. Well, what you do is you log on to the system where the HPS database resides. It's really a very user-friendly system. You basically say send, the name of the person you're going to send the message to, and you're prompted with the word text, and you type in your message and say mail, and it's off. Simple as that. Well, currently we have 224 personal computers, and I think there's about 40 of those that are the portable version.
Operations.
Les.
Hi, Dick.
Hi. Did you have a chance to get those graphs ready that we talked about last week?
Yes, I have. I've collected them all. Is there any particular one you would like to look at?
I don't know. Let's take a look at all of them and see what they look like here.
First one here is on the 3325A.
Wow. That really tells a story. Yeah, that's neat. I can tell just looking at this graph that our early failures in warranty have improved in other areas, as have our just regular warranty rates improved. So that's significant. I'm really pleased to see the results we're getting there.
It's very encouraging.
You wanted on the phone, Dick. You wanted on the phone over here.
Oh, excuse me, Les. I'm going to have to get that phone call. Hey, talk to you in a little bit. All right.
We're going to interrupt the program for a few minutes to talk directly to Dick Shore, the Quality Control Manager. Dick, when you were talking to Les, you were looking at some statistical graphs and talking about quality control. Can you tell us a little about that?
Statistical quality control is the science of analyzing our processes with statistics.
Thank you, Dick. In Program 7, we interviewed Chris Smith. Let's talk to him again. As usual, we'll take turns. I'll start the interview and talk with him, and then you can continue the interview. Are you ready? Chris, is Hewlett-Packard in any overseas locations?
Well, we're well represented in Western Europe, Japan, Singapore, Australia, Mexico. Our latest joint venture is in People's Republic of China. And another recent joint venture was announced in Korea. So you can see we're well represented, throughout the globe.
What areas do you send products to from here?
At this location, we ship our products to all customers around the world. We have about 60% of our products end up in the hands of U.S. customers, and then 40% end up in the hands of international customers, primarily Western Europe and Japan.
Tell me, what does YHP stand for?
YHP is a joint venture that HP has been involved with for about 15 years. Our partner in that venture is YEW, which is the Yokogawa Electronics Corporation. It's one of Japan's leading electronics firms.
What are some of the problems you face in setting up overseas branches?
Well, there are a lot of issues to deal with. You've got, for example, you've got different currencies, and the value of one currency in terms of another is constantly changing. So that creates a financial management challenge. And what that actually means is that the price of your product that you're selling in that overseas market is actually going up and down with the exchange rates. Whereas your competitor, if he's manufacturing in that local country, his price is staying constant. So that creates a special pricing and marketing situation we just have to keep abreast of. The advantage of manufacturing our products overseas would be that our prices would stay constant like our international competitors do.
Now it's your turn. Continue the interview. Try to find the location of Hewlett-Packard offices in Europe. Are you ready? Go ahead.
Sure. Our largest presence over there is in West Germany. We've got a division in Berblingen, West Germany, which has about 4,000 or 5,000 employees. We also have a manufacturing operation in Grenoble, France. We've got 3 in the United Kingdom, at Bristol, at Pinewood, and at South Queensferry, Scotland. The European headquarters is actually in Geneva, and that's where the headquarters of the sales force in Europe is headquartered as well. In Europe, it's pretty much the same mix that you see in the U.S., and that is test and measurement instrumentation, computing products, both commercial and personal computing products, analytical and medical instruments, and components.
Well, our time's almost up now. But before we end the lesson, let's find out if Susan has any advice for people learning English.
I think my advice would be is to try to keep the use of the language as simple and as clear as possible. A lot of the memos that you receive on occasion, you can notice a lot of words that people are trying to intellectualize or create memos that are more difficult to read than if they were to try to attempt to use plain, simple English.
Pretty good advice. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'll have one last visit to Hewlett-Packard in our next program, Program 10. Please check your television guide and join us, won't you? If you want to get a copy of the textbook, watch your TV screen for ordering information. Bye for now. WorldNet American Business English. I'm your host, Russ Fast. This is Program 10. These lessons are based on a special video English course developed by PACE International, headquartered in Portland, Oregon. This is the textbook we're using in the first part of this series, American Business English, Volume 1, Basic Communication. You may want to have your own copy of each textbook to use with these TV lessons. At the end of today's program, we'll give you the information you need to order your own materials. There are 14 case studies in this business course. We've completed Case Study 1 and Case Study 2, and today we will finish Case Study 3.
Data collection.
Today we're going to visit HP's Information Systems Group and talk about data collection. Let's get started with today's lesson. We're going to interview Susan. You met Susan in Program 8. Her title is Manager of the Manufacturing Information Systems Group. We'll take turns. I'll talk to her first. Here we go. Hi, Susan.
Hi.
How are you?
Just fine, thanks.
Tell me about your job.
I manage the Manufacturing Information Systems Group. Our responsibility is to design and maintain the software systems that are used within the manufacturing part of this division to help us manage our material and help us make shipments.
What kind of data do you collect?
Well, we manage and collect data on the quality of our instruments, on the parts that go into them, on the frequency with which they need to be moved to different parts of our operation, and really it's a very high volume of data. We represent about 60% of the people in this division and about 60% of the information needs.
How many employees in the group?
There are a little over about 850.
Now it's your turn. You do the interviewing. Unfortunately, Susan is pre-recorded, not live in person. She can't wait for you to speak. You have to speak right away. Are you ready? Remember, you have to start the conversation.
Hi. Just fine, thanks. I manage the Manufacturing Information Systems Group. Our responsibility is to design and maintain the software systems that are used within the manufacturing part of this division to help us manage our material and help us make shipments. Well, we manage and collect data on the quality of our instruments, on the parts that go into them, on the frequency with which they need to be moved to different parts of our operation, and really it's a very high volume of data. We represent about 60% of the people in this division and about 60% of the information needs. There are a little over about 850.
How did you do? I hope you didn't have too much trouble speaking at the right time. Susan told us there are about 850 employees in her group. As manager of the group, that means she must have to maintain a lot of data on employees, payroll records, personnel files, and so forth. We'll talk to Susan about that in a minute. But first, let's take a short coffee break and take a peek at some of the offices.
Data collection. Interview.
One of the most important things about this course, American Business English, is that the people you see are not professional actors. They're real business people, doing their jobs and talking about the things they do. This is natural English. The people you see are speaking naturally. They're not using scripts. Let's talk to Susan again now. We'll take turns again. I'll talk to her first, and then it'll be your turn. Are you ready? Here we go. 850 employees. That's a lot of computers.
That's right.
Large computers, lots of data.
Lots of different kinds of data. We have about, well, a computer room's right next to me, and we have 5 or 6 large Hewlett-Packard computers in there that we use to manage our business systems. We also have a number of what we can call technical computers that help us do things like test our instruments, control some of the equipment that's used to automatically insert PC boards, a lot of automated test equipment and insertion equipment in manufacturing.
So you have a lot of automated manufacturing as well.
Yes, we do.
Now, it's your turn. You do the interviewing. Don't hesitate. Speak right away. Remember, you have to start the conversation. Are you ready?
Well, we don't keep track of actually the people-related data. We have a couple of information systems groups in the division. The other group keeps track of all the payroll data, the accounting data, personnel data, and the marketing information as well. That's right. Lots of different kinds of data. We have about, well, a computer room's right next to me, and we have 5 or 6 large Hewlett-Packard computers in there that we use to manage our business systems. We also have a number of what we can call technical computers that help us do things like test our instruments, control some of the equipment that's used to automatically insert PC boards, a lot of automated test equipment and insertion equipment in manufacturing. Yes, we do.
Did you do all right? That's good practice, isn't it? Before we end our visit to HP, let's see if Chris Smith has some advice for language learners. Chris, what advice do you have for people learning business English?
I think I'd tell them be patient and don't get frustrated, because there's a lot of jargon that's different from just textbook English, and it even takes somebody that speaks English as a first language quite a long time to pick up on all the company jargon. And for me, it took probably a year or two before I was really pretty comfortable with all that jargon.
What are some of those terms?
Oh, well, YHP was one you just used. The name of that report's called the YHP DOA report. DOA stands for defective on arrival. So if you were new in a company and said, tell me about the YHP DOA information, how in the world's anybody going to know what that means just from those initials? It just takes time to pick all that up.
Today we're completing case study 3. So this is our last visit to HP. Let's look back over some key sentences and phrases we've studied. Here are a few highlights from case study 3.
Highlights.
Well, I think I can guess what this is about.
I'll bet you can. I got some good news and I got some bad news.
I've got some good news and I've got some bad news.
Now, if you look at business cycle graphs, for example, over a long period of time, you can see the electronics industry is a very cyclical industry anyway. What we seem to be in right now is a particularly long and deep down cycle.
A particularly long and deep down cycle.
The idea that came to us was to use a robot to do the delivery of the mail. That way, Daleen will only have to sort the mail and post the mail, and the delivery would be done basically without a person.
So it's a productivity improvement deal?
Definitely.
So it's a productivity improvement.
Well, one of the systems we implemented within the last couple of years is something we call HP Desk, and that's an electronic mail system. We felt like that we could get a lot of benefits from having a paperless environment in terms of the memos that are sent out.
A paperless environment.
The charges cost us about $1,000 a month, and he wants to know if it's possible to use a dial-up modem instead.
A dial-up modem.
Well, we established the personal computer strategies. We defined standard hardware and software recommendations.
Hardware and software recommendations.
In our next program, we'll move on to case study 4, and we'll meet Bill Whitaker, a manager in an international banking firm. Join us for program 11 in this series, won't you? Until next time then, goodbye and have a nice day. Stay tuned for information on ordering your copy of the American Business English textbook. Welcome to WorldNet American Business English. I'm your host, Russ Fast, and this is Program 11. These lessons are based on a video course developed by Pace International, headquartered in Portland, Oregon. These are the textbooks that go along with the course. We used Volume 1, Basic Communication, for the first 10 programs in this series. Now we're moving on to Volume 2, to begin Case Study 4. In Case Study 4, we're going to visit an international banking department, and we'll be looking in on a busy executive, the manager, Mr. Bill Whitaker. Well, let's get started with today's lesson. Are you ready? Here we go.
I want to talk to you about that difficult credit that we've been working on.
Okay.
Can you give me an update as to where that stands right now?
Case Study 4, handling everyday details.
4 o'clock, we send 2 telex.
Arranging
Yeah,
international
please,
travel.
I'm waitlisted and I'm a little bit nervous on that one.
Requesting information.
I need to have some information concerning the export letters of credit when I go for my trip to Asia.
Arranging for a credit
I need to
card.
talk to you about Harding's credit card number. Have you got a minute to come on in and talk to me about that? Oh, Dick, I've been trying to get
Confirming itineraries.
Tokyo schedule's coming together quite well. 10 o'clock on Thursday, we're meeting with the Tokyo branch people.
Sneak preview.
Hi, tonight.
Module 1.
The export LC log for Bill.
Annette, the travel agent
Module 2.
for a new credit card number for Dick Harding. Have you got that yet? Have you been able to get one from him? Oh, Dick,
Module
I've been trying
3.
to get you for a couple of days. Our Tokyo schedule's coming together quite well. 10 o'clock on Thursday, we're meeting with the Tokyo branch people and Don Hughes, followed by calls on various correspondent banks. Hi, Emily. Hi.
Module 4.
I want to talk to you about that difficult credit that we've been working on.
Okay.
Can you give me an update as to where that stands right now?
Module 1. Requesting information.
International, Tana speaking.
Tana, this is Bill.
Yes, Bill.
You know, I'm going to be taking this trip and leaving the end of February. I need to have from you, if I can, the logs from the export LCs from the second half of the year. Is it possible for me to get a hold of those?
It is possible, but I do have some problem with my staff having a backlog here. If you need them that soon, I think I'm going to need your help with maybe using your secretary to extract the information out of the book.
Hey, that's just fine. I'll try to send Annette in a little bit later today, if that's all right with you, and then she can pick up those logs and extract what I need for the trip.
Sure, that'll be fine. I'll have somebody help her go through those logs as well.
Great. Thanks very much, Guy.
You're welcome.
Right, bye.
Hi, tonight. Come
Hi,
pick
Annette.
up the export LC log for Bill.
I see. Let me get it for you.
Okay?
Here's the log, and let me turn to the page that he needs the information out of this log here. Okay, this would be the information that he needs. We'll have all the customers and the banks and, all the